So I finally figured out how to get my screen to work. Um so I'm gonna draw and talk. Hopefully, this will oh yeah, I disconnected my tablet. Oh, connected. I moved my computer up a little bit. And yeah, I'm just gonna draw and talk and it's gonna be a vibe. And maybe if I figure out how streaming works, these will be streams that I can do. So, I currently don't know if OBS is tracking this, so I'm gonna try to draw for a couple minutes or so and then check back in OBS and see if it's doing its thing. Cause I don't know. I also have lo-fi in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, lo-fi is great, isn't it? Cause well, I'm literally just talking to myself. I don't have an audience right now. It's so weird, but yeah, I'm listening to lo-fi in the background. So just check with OBS. Is it okay? So it is keeping track of my tablet starts working when I do that. So this vibe, isn't this nice? I don't see a lot of artists who just draw what their community in videos. Probably because they prefer doing it with the chat so they can answer questions and stuff, but I don't know how to do that yet, so you're just getting my drawing process. I still don't know how long I'm gonna record for. I'm probably gonna record until I finish this art piece. For people who don't know my OCs, um, who I'm drawing right now is my interpretation of Jesus. His name is Zodiac, and he's kind of like my stand-in for God when I talk to God, or when I try to represent him in art. I draw Isaiah, and people seem to like him, so I'm gonna keep drawing him. Still need to change the canvas. So I don't want to just draw in silence. So I think what I'm going to talk about is like Christianity, right? I don't like that word because Christianity has become something it's totally not supposed to be in recent times, and I don't like that. People assume things about God that aren't true, and it's kind of our job as Christians or as true Christians to like dispute all those things that aren't true about God, but I don't see a lot of people doing that. So I want to be one of the people who do that. So, like, I want to start with like one of the hottest topics, which is like being LGBTQ. If you know me, like from my TikTok, you know that I myself am queer in a sense. I'm not binary and I'm pan. And basically, I don't care about looks or gender identity. I really just care about personality. And I know that that's actually like polysexual, but panromantic. So I don't really care about like gender identity and all that. If you look nice, aesthetically pleasing, and you have an amazing personality, I like you. I'm attracted to you, right? So like I think I have agency to speak on this, but I really don't get it when people who claim to be Christian are like, you love someone of the same gender, it's a sin, or you're changing from one gender to another, that's a perversion of God's image, that's a sin, or basically, like, they say anything that isn't heteronormative or, you know, is a sin. And I don't know where that comes from because I've never heard from God directly or indirectly that being gay or being different or loving different was ever a sin. I've heard more often than not, like, all the hatred that people spew towards those groups, towards the groups I'm a part of, and not are that's a sin. Because like you're not supposed to hate others. That's a big one. Like you're not supposed to show hatred. You're not supposed to harbor hatred. You're supposed to love everyone's regardless. You know, especially if they haven't done anything to you. Like my favorite like thing to say is like if Bill and Ted down the road are in a relationship, that doesn't affect me. Like them being gay will not affect me in any way, shape, or fashion. And decide to draw people in like five of the same poses, and it's because I'm not good at any others without bases or a reference. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Things people say about God that aren't true. So, number one, being gay isn't a sin. I know what it says in Leviticus, but what it's saying in Leviticus is referring to a Roman practice of sexual exploitation that we don't do anymore because we're not Romans and men don't show their dominance over other men by sodomizing them. It wasn't anything like a consensual loving relationship between two men back then. It was, oh, you're a lower caste than me, so I can show my dominance over you by essentially raping you. And that's fine because I'm a Roman and I have the status to do that. That's what that verse is referring to. I don't know how that got lost in translation. Um, and maybe it is because it did get mistranslated or misinterpreted, and they add the word homosexuality like wrongly, because that attributed a meaning that wasn't the true meaning to it. Um, and they say all these other things like don't mark your body, don't eat shellfish, don't mix fabrics. But another thing to like keep in mind is like those are all rules for the people who are Levites, because it's in the book of Leviticus. And last I checked, we're not Levites. Like the rest of us aren't in tribes like that anymore. So like things in the Bible are mostly meant to be taken symbolically, not literally. It's all metaphorical. Um, and I don't understand why people take a metaphorical book, talking about a man who speaks in parables and mysteries, and they think everything he says is literal, or everything he says, sorry, is literal, when that couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, honestly, I feel like, and this part makes me angry, so I'm gonna use my angry sprite. Um, honestly, it makes me feel like, makes me feel like people are perverting God's word, to suit their own, like, suit their own agendas, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because all it's doing is scaring people away from Christianity and making them feel like, they're wrong for how they are when God made them that way. And that isn't cool. I mean, people can have their own opinions, but when you're perverting the word to suit your biases, you're doing something that God said was wrong. You're taking the Lord's name in vain by assuming that he said one thing when he clearly meant it a different way. Um, that's what taking the Lord's name in vain means, by the way. It doesn't mean like don't say his name when you curse. It means don't pervert his language to say it means one thing when it clearly means something else. Or like don't use his name to justify something he already condemned. So like The Crusades, for instance, are the biggest ways of taking the Lord's name in vain, because they use God's word to justify like genocide and colonization, and God never like co-signed on that. Um, you know, people will use the Bible to do just about anything, and that really I don't know, like I'm too angry to formulate like proper thoughts on that, but I don't know. Am I making sense? I don't think I'm making sense. Um, how long has it been? It's been 16 minutes. Wow, this video is gonna be long. Um, but it's my entire drawing process, so of course it's gonna be long. Um, we're gonna go back to happy. We're gonna go back to happy. Because you know, on the plus side, you know, the people who are at least the people around me who love God and are I don't know what I'm drawing. I have no idea what I'm drawing right now. It's the wrong color. It's better. We use different sides with the sketch too. There we go. That's easier. But I mean, on the plus side, despite people perverting God's word, I seen like on the internet some of the big things are like, oh, the Zodiac signs are paganistic or demonic. It's like, come on, guys. Not everything is demonic just because you don't understand it. Um, or like people are like Halloween is demonic when like it was literally meant for a way for homeless people or people who were unhoused to be able to get food and things because they had talents that they could go door to door and showcase. Like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I I'm pretty sure I'm not though, because I've done my own research, especially on like Halloween. It's not a demonic holiday. It was never meant to be demonic. It literally just a harmless like holiday of people dressing up as scary things. And in modern times, of course, people will attribute any kind of evil thing to it. But originally, it wasn't meant for all that. It was just like a, hey, ghosts and spirits and things are around these days. But, you know, you can go door to door saying trick or treat, and like they either give treats or do a trick, and it'd be great. I think we've lost like a lot of what traditions used to be. Cause like I would have loved as a kid if we said trick or treat and then someone was like do a trick, and then I had to like sing for them or something. I would have loved. I would have loved for us to do trick or treat and then someone like do a magic trick or something. That seems like it would be so cool. It would be so awesome. It would be so cool. you know, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. My depending on how like this is gonna take me a while. So I'm gonna stop the video here and just post like this partial progress. And then I'll post the finished product um probably on my TikTok and my YouTube shorts. But thanks for listening to me ramble for 21 minutes, or probably 22 minutes if I let this go any further. But yeah, I'm gonna go. So bye. Have a good day.